To Mindset Monday. Your host, Caroline Ainslie, is here to help you find out how to make your dreams come true. And today we have the most amazing guests, Chrissa and Vicky Tolidou, two women that I met and just totally fell in love with them. They are powerhouses of getting your brand out there using video, using your appearance, and the most positive growth mindset of all the people I've ever encountered. So as soon as we come back, we will be with Vicky and Chrissa, and there's a jingle coming up any moment now. The jingle will appear for Relax Radio, RELAKS, taking the X, the negativity, out of your radio, making it all about mindset. That's bang, that's I am. This is great. This is the first time I'm using StreamYard because of the lockdown. I've been going into the radio station, and now this is the first time using StreamYard, and I've got to say, oh, found it. We've got the right one. We've got the one to press.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
And oh my goodness, I'm back. Okay, back in the studio, and I'm going to introduce you to the amazing Chrissa and Vicky Tolidou. And here they come, just like magic, nearly like magic. But the magic isn't happening. They're wiggling their fingers, and I'm clicking add to stream, but it's not happening. Oh, it's oh, yes, no, they appear and then they disappear. They appear and disappear.
You're pressing it twice. That's why it's going.
Fantastic. You know what I really need here? I really need Vicky. Vicky, that's what I need. I need you every Monday. Vicky is technical news. These two sisters are the epitome of a growth mindset. They live their life based on a growth mindset, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, I have to ask you, ladies, because we're starting later than expected. Do I have any extra time, or do we have to finish at 4:30?
That's I mean, if we like five more minutes is fine.
5 more minutes. So 4:35.
You'll be fine.
4:35. Yes, but they've got to leave. I've got my control in my ear, and Vicky and Chrissa have to leave. So here we go. The Tolidou sisters, Chrissa and Vicky, two nobodies, self-confessed nobodies that went from makeup artist and filmmaker, editor, videographer, one sister being the makeup artist, the other sister being the techie lady, to successful in-demand somebodies in the business world, consulting in the music and film industry with 200 video clips, ads, and over 300 events. Their branding advice has transformed an unknown singer into a famous celebrity. And I don't know who it is. So frustrating. So I am Caroline Ainslie. This is Mindset Monday. Welcome, Chrissa and Vicky, to the show. Thank you so much
Thank you so much for having us. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be on your show. Thank you for your time. We absolutely honor this place, and thank you so much for having us as your guest. So to share a little bit about who we are called the world's favorite sisters. And what we do is basically we help people create a profitable and sustainable personal brand and or scale it. How we do it is with the medium of videos. So we create beautiful videos that share people's stories in a way that people are falling in love with them. So as you said, yes, that's correct. We were two nobodies who literally, we were thought with how we grew up that we were not amount to anything. We didn't go the traditional way of education. We come from a beautiful home of beautiful, extraordinary parents who were entrepreneurs. And we grew up in a beautiful, beautiful home, filled with business. And we grew up basically in an environment that we didn't know exactly how to keep the wealth that was generated there. And it has everything to do with mindset. So it's super, super important. The day-to-day, it's really important, guys. If you are listening in, absolutely take notes because Caroline is fantastic. She has some extraordinary, valuable questions for you. And we absolutely love to serve and give value. We have a heart for service, and this is why we're here.
So before the wonderful Tolidou sisters of Tolidou Education leave, we are going to share with you, they do have a system that can help you literally, that you can sign up to. In the meantime, the first thing we're going to do is because we've got so little time, because we had the technical difficulties, can we go straight to the mindset? And then at the end, we'll make sure, just with 5 minutes spare, we'll make sure that everyone knows how to contact you so that they too can, because I am a client of the Tolidou sisters, and I'm excited about all the videos and all the way that I can promote growth mindset and the education things that I do. And so I'm really grateful to them. So I would like, so I've got so many questions and so little time. So
don't think of the time. We're here. Don't think of the time. Shoot the questions. Come on, let's serve.
Right. One experience, you've got to be quick answers here. One experience that led you to living with a growth mindset. I think you've already given us an idea. What was there a moment where you realized life had to be in growth, in positivity, rather than worrying about things that couldn't work?
Absolutely. So I love this question. There's so many moments that we can think that it led us to a growth mindset, but the one that I'm going to pick today is we had a house fire back in 2012 where literally we lost everything. And that was a huge turning point for both of us, where we said, okay, we're going to take our life serious now, because the mindset that we had back then is, just to give you an idea, what we lost in the fire was our whole branding, everything. We lost our identity, basically. Everything, all the work that we did from the past, we lost it. And that was because the way we were thinking back then was not the same as what we're doing now. And the house fire helped us look at the urgency of life and see how everything actually needs to evolve, otherwise it dies. If you don't evolve, you're dying. If you don't evolve, you might burn in some of the fires that are in your life, perhaps, and you're not even looking at right now. So that was one of the moments where we looked at that on a serious note, and we chose to live life intentionally and create a business intentionally to help people with their personal branding and helping them also with their mindset.
Fantastic. So from a negative, instead of dwelling on the negative, you moved onwards and upwards from that, what could have been, well, what probably was for a while, a terrible experience. And yeah, that is the essence of a growth mindset. I'd like to ask you, what is your, perhaps Krista this time, what is your definition of success?
Like my beautiful sister said, for us, it is important to live based on possibility and everything is a possibility. So whatever you may like, going through, the most important thing is always to remember, in the middle of a problem, there is a possibility. In the middle of any freaking problem. Maybe you're now, in this pandemic, a lot of people, they don't know how to pivot online, or, there are maybe, a little bit of tension in home, or, maybe the finances don't work how you want it. In there's gold. In every problem, there's so much gold, because in there you're always going to find the solution where you can grow and become who you need to become to level up, in your life, and to create what you're supposed to create. I think, like, for us, the most hurtful thing is unfulfilled potential. Unfulfilled potential, I'm super scared of, and I can share, like, we both are, because we don't have a traditional education, and this doesn't mean anything. And we are not the typical success story, and this doesn't mean anything as well, because we as humans are limitless, and it's up to us to believe it, and then to bring ourselves in an environment with people who, they're watching what's coming in their mind, they're watching what people are saying, and out of the heart, out of the mouth comes the heart, they say. So when you follow this back, you can see, who you are surrounding yourself with. Are they speaking life into your being? Are they lifting you up? If you're in an environment, where, for example, like gossip and things like that, in the business world, gossip is like not acceptable. In the home world, it's not acceptable. So you see that when we are conscious of who we are surrounding ourselves with, who we want to become, we watch what we say, and we watch what other people say, and we create there where maybe, nothing is seen with our eyes, but you can actually get so much juice out of it, because any problem is simply, for us to grow and to become who we are supposed to be, and this is limitless. Also,
so success is fulfilling your potential, and also it's that growth mindset, putting the negativity, just casting that aside, having the ability to cast that aside would be a huge element of success.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying, and also?
Yes, and also I want to add, because I'm present to the time, so we are good, to go for another like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So.
Okay, fantastic. Right, so at the past, I'll do another jingle, and in the meantime, in that case, I have a question for you, and I hadn't actually got a proper answer before we spoke, and I would actually be very interested. There's quite a large age difference between yourself and Vicky, and now I've had an experience of having 14 years between myself and the next child. Did you have any siblings between yourself and Vicky?
Yes, we have.
Oh, so you're but you do have this experience of being a 14-year-old and a baby's born.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and how that impacted your life. And it's interesting that you do have a really good relationship with Vicky, with this baby that appeared when you were 14.
This baby is so wise, and it's an honor and a privilege to have her, not only my sister, but also my business partner. I couldn't wish for a better person to do life and business with. She's a woman full of creativity, beauty, integrity. She makes crazy things happen. She's creating so much beauty in other people's lives and in my life. So, as you see in my answer already, it's all about mindset. In the beginning, when I saw, I thought, oh my God, another one? No. But, everything has to do with mindset. Everything has to do on how you perceive your life. What does it mean, to be the older sister? What does it mean, to be the younger sister? It's all story. So in what story do you like to live in? Will it be like a fantastic fairy tale, or will it be like a horror monster story, like a Halloween one? It's up to you guys, isn't it? And
choose the outcome via your mindset.
Yes, that's correct.
So let's talk a little bit about what you do to help others, because what you do isn't just about branding, it isn't just about the technical aspects of creating videos. You provide what some might call coaching. I call it enlightenment. Chris is very wise, and yes, the positivity oozes out of these two. It's absolutely wonderful experience working with them. So tell us about the depth of the service that you provide in terms of, and this again with respect to the mindset. The reason why I've asked you here is because you embody growth mindset. So how do you help your clients with that? How do you and can you tell us what's the first thing a person can do to transform if they've got a fixed or a negative mindset into a positive or growth mindset?
Oh, very good question. Very good question. Oh gosh, look, we love what we do. We truly love what we do, and everything that we do came out of a lot of pain, I would say. As we shared before, we grew up in an entrepreneurial family. So as kids of fantastic, phenomenal entrepreneurs, we had the ups and the highs, and we had the ultra lows. And the ultra lows were very, very low. Well, to the point where we can share, so to give you an example, right? So we grew up ultra rich. Unfortunate event happens. We were not groomed for success. We were not groomed to maintain the success that the family got into our homes. Me, especially as the older one, I was ultra spoiled, and I didn't know how to keep money. I didn't know how to make money. I only knew how to spend the money. So, this already is a big foul. However, you see that in the middle of each problem, there's a possibility. And now we see why we went through everything that we went through, because now we're serving literally thousands of people, and we're helping them, cut generational curses in the families. We help people not only create their personal brand, but, to support their household provider, because especially there are so many beautiful men out there, and women, of course, who are out there making things happen, and at home they don't have the unity, they don't have the support that is needed, which is actually words of affirmation, encouragement. Because as a leader, what does a leader really want? They have a vision, and this vision is like inside of them, and they need to share it, and of course they're going to share it with their family, so the family needs to be supportive. And a lot of times, because people and leaders are misunderstood, especially if the vision is so big, and we look outside and 98% of the people maybe don't get it. However, it is important. Everything starts at home. So what we do is a huge privilege, to work with high achievers on a very personal level, and to not only encourage them and to go after their vision, but to literally create it, because it's egoistical not to. The world is craving for what you have inside of you, so we kick it out.
Yes, I can see that the support at home is absolutely critical, because and it's the same with doing the maths with families. What I do is I provide support, not to actually necessarily learn the maths, but to actually how to feel positive about the maths, growth mindset, basically how to transform into a growth mindset, and that family support, or the lack of negativity, and the positive language, and making sure that that everyone in the family supports someone who might be struggling. So what is your how do you help someone who might have a family who is not being supportive? What's the first thing that you would suggest, or the most powerful thing that you would suggest to them to actually help transform that family from being perhaps getting in the way to being an encouraging family?
Yeah. Well, you see that it's never somebody else's fault. Yeah. It's never. And this is the work. Basically, how we do it, we do the work. So we go down and literally, it's a beautiful journey of discovering self, of discovering who you truly are, who you can be. When we, go to a point where you allow us to kick you a little bit, and to with tons of like love and tons of support, dare you basically to go to a level that maybe it's uncomfortable, because only if we change, our environment is going to change, right?
Okay, so we're going to have to go to a break. I'm going to find out what Vicky was going to say, just to hold that thought. I'm going to go to a break. In the meantime, so the conclusion is you are responsible yourself. It is actually, you have the power. So you're turning it around, and you're giving your clients the power to actually make that transformation. It's not like, oh, it's my family's fault. It's your own responsibility. I love it. Absolutely wonderful. We're going to go to the break, and immediately afterwards we've got the Tolidou sisters, Tolidou Education, the world's favorite sisters, after the break.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
We're back in the studio with, they're just about to come in with us, with the Tolidou sisters, the world's favorite sisters. And they're sharing their wisdom with us, sharing how to essentially live a successful life. Any of the things you're hearing, if you haven't got a business, if you don't run a business, take these wonderful words of wisdom that these amazing women are sharing, and find ways to implement them. So take responsibility, find the positive in things, in bad things that happen. I practice gratitude. That's one of the things that I literally practice. I'm always looking for the positive in these situations. So Vicky, you were about to say something before the break. Go ahead.
Yes, I was. I wanted to, if somebody's signing in just now, just go back and listen to the previous question, so you can connect the two. But basically, to bring the growth mindset into a real life example that happened to me, and it was because of my beautiful sister. It's got to do with money and money mindset. And I was very limited in that, because I actually grew up, as you mentioned, we have a big difference between us in age, but I grew up in the poverty time where our family was actually struggling. And I had a limit and a block in terms of money and how to generate it for myself, where my sister had no problem to do that. My sister just knew exactly what to do. She knew the strategies, she knew the blueprints, and I didn't. So I found myself a lot of the times just doing things for free, giving my services for free. And this was before we joined together. And when everything happened and we became the world's favorite sisters, I actually got coaching from my sister. And I literally shut up here and here. And I just did what my sister told me. I just acted. Because if you're having somebody who has the experience, who knows the know-hows, you need to listen. You need to take advantage of that and learn. And this is exactly what I did. And as soon as that happened, then it was like, a blindfold was taken out of me. And all of a sudden, making money was no longer this hard thing. It was no longer, I'm going to give my services for free, but I'm actually valuing my service and what I do so much that it's a privilege and an honor charging and putting a price tag on it. So this is the power of mindset and the power of coaching, if you will.
Well, and Vicky has every right to the sense of serenity that one gets knowing is like, okay, just Vicky just steps in and does the techie part of things. So you're a great complementary team. Whereas Chrissa is they're both mindset gurus, but Chrissa's very much a life coach, and Vicky just knows the technical side and the videography side. What a great team you ladies make.
Actually, you know what? It's really funny, but when my sister is talking, I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
I'm literally taking notes because the wisdom that this beautiful young lady here has is phenomenal. You know, Vicky is a person who is putting in the work, and she's growing every day. And I wish I would have an older sister when I was younger, like Vicky, because she's building me up, you know, even now, like every day, and it's beautiful. So always as a team, have moments where you reflect on each other during the day. You know, we have like moments where we sit down. Usually it's twice a day, and we see, you know, where we are right now. How's the team going? You know, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? And all the time I'm taking notes, and it's beautiful. And guys, do this also in your family, and your family life will transform. Honor the people that you are living with. Honor the people that you do life and business with, because they matter. But how do we actually show that they matter? We first need to believe it, and then actions follow.
Okay, powerful. I would like to actually, because you are a team, and there are so many of us out here that I actually don't want to be on my own. It was not a choice. I lost my partner, but I'm now looking for another partner, whether it be life or business partner. Mm-hmm. To me, it occurs to me that having two people in a team is much more powerful than doubling the power. What would you say to people who believe, oh, I can do it on my own, I don't need anybody else, I'm going to do it on my own, yes, I'm struggling, but that's all right, I can do it? What would you say to them?
It's not okay to struggle. No. It's not okay to struggle. We're not supposed to struggle. Never ever. No human being, we're not on this earth to freaking struggle. So this is the first thing that I would say. And if you want to do something extraordinary with your life, you need to have a team, because, you know, especially the people who say, oh, I'm okay on my own. These are the people that are wounded. These are the people that maybe, you know, they went through a bankruptcy that we had the privilege actually to experience with our family. So done it, you know, okay, in a very young age.
Got the t-shirt.
Got the t-shirt. Yeah, that's it. You know, or oh yeah, no, relationships. Oh my God, no, like I'm good on my own. And this is all like fake. But, you know, deep inside, people are longing for love. People are longing for, you know, to not be alone, especially now we have, you know, this crazy season that we actually can connect with people. We actually can do, you know, so many things. And the easiest way is to, okay, put it all on the pandemic and say, oh my God, I cannot go out, or oh my God, I don't know about techie stuff, or this and that, you know, where in fact, right now, there are so many people who really, you know, need it. So no, you're not going anywhere without a team.
And what else I'm hearing here is actually comparison. And comparison will not get you anywhere, but unity and creating and building up on a team is where you will get extraordinary results. Yeah. You can only get up to a certain point on your own. Then you are going to need the help of others. And the only way to get the help of others is honor each other's differences and create something beautiful and embrace that and move forward together to get to a next level in your life or your business.
Beautiful. So what is Tolidou Education, Chrissa and Vicky? mission?
Good question. What is it? Gosh, it's a transformative experience that you're going to fall in love with your life and with your business, because you come in for something completely different and you get out with so much more. It's extraordinary. We have so many beautiful results, where people came, to have their team trained by us for leadership, and they want to make more money, and suddenly they not only did this, and they tripled their income, but also they got married. So because they had like more time, it's like a byproduct. So.
Matchmakers on the side.
We have other people who, they were selling a specific, program in the season online, which was like 500 euros, a client in Germany. And after our rebranding in the same season, in the same pandemic, with the same package, only rebranded, the same package is selling now for 16K.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, from 500 euros to 16,000 euros. 16K just makes it sound small.
Our clients have extraordinary results. So we have another client who literally wanted to sell a video series to Netflix. It didn't work out, so they came to us with their video. We rebranded the whole thing. Went back to Netflix. Netflix said no, but then they went to Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime said yes.
Yay! Fantastic. So you want results with your branding, with your promotion products. Tolidou Sisters are the ones to go to. Okay, so I've got two more questions. I'm going to start with Vicky, because this is going to be after. This will happen after Chrissa hits the big number. When you're 100, not if, when you're 100 and look back on your life, what do you want to see?
I want to see a life fully lived with the potential that my sister said, fully accomplished, where the potential that is there is actually helping others, and it actually went beyond me, and it goes beyond me, beyond my generation, and it goes into the next.
A legacy.
Nice.
Chrissa?
Well, the vision is, to cut out of people's lives generational financial curses, to serve at least 1 billion people, with our services. At least, and to have created something, that is transformative, fun, and easy, and is in every household a must. So yeah, this is the vision, to bring transformative experience into billions of people's homes and hearts, and that they live based on their values, based on their priorities, and not what is said, outside. You need to, invest tons of time to make money first and all of that. So we're completely the opposite, to be honest.
Okay. Well, so the last thing is, there are links to the Tolidou Education Facebook page, and also they've got, why don't you just tell us about your promotion? You've got a premium video subscription promotion. Why don't you just tell us about that quickly? There's a link in the description to that. Tell us about that quickly before we have to say goodbye.
Thank you so much. So guys, we have actually a beautiful promotion happening right now, which are some video subscription packages. And Vicky, you want to share a little bit like how it works?
Yeah. So if you go on our website, if you go on that link, you will see that there are 3 different packages, and we're having a special limited price for just November, basically. Where you get monthly videos, or video moving pictures, we call them, for your social media accounts. And they're dripped weekly. Depending on your package, you get a volume of videos weekly or daily. It depends how fast you want to go, how fast you want to build up your personal brand awareness, so that people know what you're doing, and then they actually come and enjoy your services and buy from your services.
Especially now, a lot of people, they need to know that you're taking care of them on another level. Because what is sales? Sales is basically showing up and telling them, what, I care about you. How are you doing it? That's why, we chose, for us, it's our favorite medium, to work with. It's video, because you can share what is in your heart. You can share, what you're passionate about, what will create results in their life, everything that is actually, transforming your client's life. So it's really important to be out there with video. It's really important to have a voice. And that's why we made something very easy, super fun, on a monthly basis, on a very, very affordable price, especially now in the season.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us once again, Vicky and Krisa Tolidou, the world's favorite sisters who are effusively loving and as you can see for yourselves, so dynamic, so energetic. They just lift the whole room when they're in a room, and even here online, I'm like, whoa, I'm lifted up. I love working with you, and thank you so much for coming on the program. And I will see. Well, we'll work out how to share everything afterwards. I'll be in touch afterwards. Thank you so much, and please do follow these ladies. Every time they go live, go check them out. If you see them coming up live, do ding that thing where it says every time they go live, go, because I have learned a lot by following that link, and they get some really interesting partnerships and useful, really, really useful information, and adding value, always adding value in so many ways. Thank you so much. And I'm going to cut you off now and go back to the jingle. Well, actually, let me just go to the jingle. I apologize to anyone if this is me on my first time on.
Actually, Caroline, I'd like to share one last thing, guys.
Oh,
sorry.
Go for it. Go for it. Before the jingle, go for it.
Yeah, we would love to give a 15-minute consultation completely for free to anybody, who wants to see what are we really about. So yes, we do some type of coaching. We do some type of video production stuff. Like if you still, you want to get an advice maybe for this season, or you have some questions about your video marketing, video branding, reach out to us. 15 minutes completely for free. And please send us an email with Relax Radio Caroline in the header, so we know that where you're coming from, and you're going to have it completely free. And the email is
Krisa@TolidouEducation.com. If you can also add it into the description, that would be lovely, so that it's easy for people to go to.
It's CHRISSA at TOLIDOUeducation.com.
But you have the Tolidou Education, the link is on there. So yes, I didn't put the emails on there. So right. But you can always contact them through the Facebook page. Well, thank you. So, come on, Relax Radio and get offered a 15-minute consult. What better? We love Relax Radio. Thank you. I love the world's favorite sisters. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline. You're fantastic. Thank you so much for the beauty that you share in this world with what you do. And it's extraordinary to see you in this beautiful position. You are the most amazing and lovable host ever. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Hey.
Okay, you're staying. I just seen a message. You can stay till the end. You've got 10 minutes. Stay 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Well, it's not, and it'll only be 5 because I've got to. So let's find one of the other questions back, and then when we go to the next thing, I'm
This is
going to
bonus section.
This is a bonus, guys.
section. You've had the 15-minute free consultation. You've found out how to live in a positive, with the growth mindset, how to be most successful with your family, which is take complete responsibility for your own actions. You have found how to live in positivity, living with growth, find how to be successful, find the positive in even the most dire circumstances, like going bankrupt or losing everything in a fire. So how about, I'm just looking for a question that might help you here, but I'm sure you don't need my help anyway. Yeah. Going back to the first, why is, and I'm going to start with Chrissa, because Chrissa has so much to say, and she often takes a back step to, I said it wrong. I was looking at Vicky and I said Chrissa. I'm actually looking at Vicky. I'm sorry, not Chrissa, because Chrissa does more talking than Vicky, and I always love hearing what Vicky's got to say. Why is mindset so important to you, the growth mindset?
Because as mentioned earlier also, if you're not growing, you're dying. And how I see it, mindset actually controls every aspect of your life. It controls your business, it controls how you feel about yourself, controls your relationship. So if that's part of your life in such a big way, then make it count and make it so that it's not controlling you, but it's helping you get to where you want to go. Whether that's have this incredible business where you're helping thousands and millions and billions of people, whether that's you simply creating a video where you just started and you want to start building your brand. And that's you stepping in front of the camera and start talking value to your people. That everything is closely related to mindset. And what you think about yourself is what you're going to communicate. Because like my sister said, it's in your words, it's in your communication. Your mindset comes out from there. You will hear it in people's words.
So you've mentioned billions, and I certainly, in order to fulfill my mission, which is to make maths fun for every child on earth, I need to reach billions. You've given an inkling on how you're doing it through video, through presumably broadcasting. If someone does want to reach billions, well, apart from contacting the Tolidou sisters, Tolidou Education, I think you've kind of given an inkling to it. Can you just, our final comment, how do we reach billions? Oh my goodness.
I love this question. I love this question. I think it's really important to not have any ceiling. And yes, first of all, you need to get yourself out of the equation, because it's not about you, but it's about reaching these people. And why do you want to reach these people? So number one is you get yourself completely out, because business is not about you, it's about other people. Number two is when you are out there, speak value. Anything that you say needs to matter in another human being's life. Be the person who, when you speak, you're causing transformation behind closed doors. You don't need to know about it. You don't need to hear about it. It's all an add-on. The money is an add-on. The fame is an add-on. But what really counts is that your communication in front of any video, and like on radio. It needs to matter because there are people out there that really need your services. So it's super easy because when somebody is happy, they're sharing about it. So number one, get yourself out of the situation because it's not about you. Number two, add as much value as possible to your audience, and they cannot get enough of you.
And bonus point, the bonus point is if you actually serve one person, then you can serve billions.
Yeah.
If you serve them right, you can serve billions.
Yeah.
You know, if you're humble with the little and faithful with the little, you will be ruler over much, much more. And it's coming down to that.
Yeah.
If you can serve one person right, you can serve billions.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. On that note, fantastic. Thank you one more time to Vicky and Krista Tolidou, the world's favorite sisters. Thank you so much. And we're coming back after the break with Happy Maths Hour. My colleague and friend, Tony Bearden, will be joining us, and we will be spending the hour helping you if you've got homework, if you've got someone with a fear of maths, with anxiety about maths. Come back after the break and we will be sharing you how to have a growth mindset about maths. Guess what? And lots of practical advice and practical activities. And we're going to play a little game with some sticks, as you do. And we'll see you after the break. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I look forward to speaking to you again.
Bye.
Bye.
Session.
Bye. I'm going to find out which button to press here.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Welcome back. I am now going to be joined shortly by my friend and colleague, Tony Bearden, and who is going to join us shortly. Now, if you have problems with maths, if you know anybody that has problems with maths, if you live as I do in the wish, in the desire that every child on earth love learning and enjoy mathematics, then you want to be with us for the next hour. Now, Tony will join us as soon as we can. As a result of the lockdown, I'm on StreamYard this week. So last week was my first program, and we were in the studio, and I was getting familiar with the studio. And now I'm having to learn how to work on StreamYard. And I had some technical problems, but guess what? I have a growth mindset. Having said that, well, let's just discuss. I'm working out how to get Tony on board on StreamYard. So that's what she'll be doing right now, is she'll be frantically working out how to get onto StreamYard because we had some technical problems. I was all set up on my computer, as one does. And then this morning I was broadcasting for doing part of Science Week in Ireland, and my computer charger stopped working. So I had 3 broadcasts throughout the morning. For the 3rd broadcast, I had to switch computers because my computer was going to stop working halfway through the 3rd broadcast. And I'm all set up for StreamYard on the other computer and not on this one. So unfortunately, everything isn't all tickety-boo. And so we'll get Tony on just as soon as we can. But first of all, I'm discovering all kinds of things. As of next week, you will be able to call in. You will have a phone number for you to call in, so you can join in and share your stories and ask questions. Tony is actually a really high caliber maths educator. My role in life is to make maths fun, to help people have a positive attitude towards maths. Tony is like a super expert in all aspects of maths education through up to the age of 18. I mean, she knows an awful lot of maths, but she's an expert in how to learn mathematics. And so we're privileged to have her, and she has a growth mindset. I have a growth mindset. I was about to share that you can have a growth mindset in some areas and not necessarily have it in all areas. So, for example, myself, I have a belief that I'm no good at art, at painting. But you know what? The more I read, the more I understand, the more I learn, the more I understand that it's just because, okay, so I don't have a natural talent. I'm not somebody who can just paint and boom, it comes out. But I can learn. And one of the things that I have been learning, and I'm using this as a very practical example, this is real life, ladies and gentlemen, live Relax Radio. We are finding a way. I'm going to send her a message. How are you getting on? I'm just going to send her a message. How are you? I'm going to, like Mike McIntyre, send out random messages to people. How are you getting on? I might have to get on the phone to her. Shall I call her? Shall I call Tony on the phone? And that way we can, well, before I call her, I've sent her a text message. Before I call her, how does this all apply to having a positive mindset? How do you, oh, she's done it. Now, I keep doing this, and I'm going to bring her on and I'm going to say it to her face. I'm not going to do it behind her back. Here we go. Hooray, Tony. My goodness. I was just telling them how we have to have a growth mindset. We're both learning. Now, I'm 58 years old and I learn something new every day. Oh, she couldn't. I don't know if she could hear. And
I can hear you. It's
I'm
all right.
always, one of the things I tell the children all the time, when I go to schools and whenever I broadcast, is my hero is somebody that learns something new every day. And I don't think you mind me telling them how old you are, do you, Tony? Because I hope you don't, because I do. I've done it.
Well, it's not a big secret.
It's not a big secret. Tony is 80 and she learns something new every day. And the secret is exactly that, the growth mindset, the willingness to learn. And there are plenty of things in my life that I am afraid to tackle, or I'm nervous about tackling. I think, oh my goodness, the one thing I do know, because I live it, is that if I say to myself, I can't do it, that is the one thing, that is the trigger. So what do you mean by you can't do it? Of course you can do it. As I'm just describing, I had a belief that I could not do art. I got an unclassified, a U. For those, I don't know if U's still exist, but when I went to school, we had a U, an unclassified, as in you didn't even get a mark. You didn't even get a fail on your certificate. Unclassified meant nobody would ever hear any more about Caroline Ainslie and art. It's just obliterated from the face of the earth. But yet now I'm an artist. I'm a balloon artist. I'm a performing artist. I never got onto any of the stage plays. I got the back, I was in the crowds at the back. I was never got any actual parts at school. And now I am an actual award-winning performing artist. So there is no such thing as I can't. There is no such thing as I'm no good at. What have you got to say about that, Tony?
I do agree. I'm not, I don't have a success story like that, actually. My I can't sing in tune. But I do remember this lady's name. She was called Miss Proudman, and I was about 5 years old. And she said to me quite sternly, "Tony, you are flat." And I knew it was something wrong with my singing, but I didn't have a clue what was exactly wrong. And you see, that is such a big problem, because you can believe yourself that you can't do something, and that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sure is sure. If you don't think you're going to be able to, you're likely to fail. But then other people can put you down and actually make you feel like that. And I think, honestly, teachers do that. Or just all those red crosses on the children's work make them believe that they can't do maths or whatever else it is. You know, I mean, I'm hopeless at other things too, quite apart from singing. Never been any good at sport. But the point is, people do have their strengths and weaknesses. But schoolwork, mostly, almost everybody, unless they've got some serious disability, children can succeed, and the failure is with the teachers. And I think that's something, I've been a teacher all my life, I mean, it's a long life. And that's a hard thing to say about teachers. But I do think that it's very hard if they've got big classes as well. But you just have to realize that children don't all go along this pathway at the same speed. Some are slower than others. And you've got to you can't treat them all the same. You know, you've got to make sure that they've all been given something to do that they can do well. And then you can tell them how that's good. And then you give some a little bit harder and they all make progress.
Well, I'm told by people voice coaches, that it's quite a common thing. And it happened to me too. I was told I was out of tune. I was, picked out from a singing choir, and she walked up and down the lines and stopped at me when it said the same thing. She goes, "You're out of tune." I'm like, I knew what it meant, and I was absolutely mortified. But apparently there's a lot more that we can do to control our voices than we realize. So it's the same, and it's the same with dance. I don't have 2 left feet. I've got 10 big toes, and I don't know what's worse than a left foot. So in that respect, it's what I have learned from dancing is if I practice a routine and I throttle that routine, and like the same goes with when I'm doing performances, there are some things that you have to be a bit nifty about. You just keep training and do it again and again, and they call it the muscle memory. And you can apparently do that with your voice, Tony. So you could learn sing and tune. You just have to learn the muscle memory of how to sing in tune. Yes. Well, the thing is, yeah, you've got to want to. Excuse me, I'm making some sticks up for the game that we're going to play.
Are we going to talk about bendy quads?
We are going to talk about bendy quads, and so far I've been given an assignment by Tony. I've been told to make a 24-inch paper stick. I couldn't even find my string. Right? Sorry?
Centimetre.
Yes. Yes. That. Oops. Oh, and that's another huge what's the word, tip I can give you for someone who makes attitude towards mistakes. I don't make mistakes, do I, Tony?
Never.
In fact, hold on. Let's do our little routine. I never make mistakes.
And she always tells the truth.
Thank you. This is my stage. Which way are you? I don't know which way you are. I'll just point that way because I'm not quite sure which way you are. This is my sidekick. I love it when Tony comes on stage with me. I'm not lying, because every time I make a mistake, even if it's unwillingly, even if it's unknowingly, I always learn something. So I don't make mistakes. I make magnificent mistakes, and I learn from them. Magnificent
learning opportunities.
Magnificent learning opportunities. Every single one is. And what I was going to say, what reminded me of that, was that when I realized I had made a boo-boo and I had said 24 inches instead of centimeters, My reaction wasn't to go, oh no, I made a mistake, and I'll be mortified and I can't face anybody and they'll think I'm stupid. Although I have to be brutally honest, that does go on into my head for just a fraction of a second. But then I laugh. And you know what? And I'm not even laughing at myself. And I'm happy for other people to laugh and for everyone to laugh along, because it's silly. It's a silly situation. Getting inches and centimeters isn't the biggest thing in the world. But if you trip, I mean, as long as you don't get really hurt, if you trip, you just make a mistake. You can choose, be uplifted with laughter or sink down into the depths with despair. Which would you prefer?
Let's get back to bendy quads. Okay?
Bendy quads. Okay, right.
Now, what Caroline is
told.
doing in these few weeks is she is talking about scale. Well, she's doing things all about scale, and everybody knows about scale, even if they don't think about it very often. We are very used to seeing pictures of things, and we know the pictures are not the right size. I mean, they are the right size, but they're not the same size as the object that they represent. If you see a photograph of a person, the photograph is going to be quite small, and you know the person's quite tall. Okay. So we're very used to scale. And if everything in the picture is to scale, then the picture looks like the big thing. Scales hugely important in our world, because designers who make anything, whether it's aeroplanes or, as we did last week, real aeroplanes maybe, or whether
if you haven't seen last week's program, go ahead and watch it. We were actually shooting airplanes in the studio. Paper airplanes.
So in the serious business of manufacturing, whether it's aeroplanes or people's clothes or whatever it is, they're designed first on a smaller scale, and then that scale is sort of tested in various ways, and then the real thing, the right size, is then made. And so we all know about scale, and it's hugely important in our lives, and it's hugely important in maths. And so today we're going to continue this saga about scale, and we're going to go on in different ways. I mean, it's not going to be boring all about scale, because there's going to be so much variety in different things that we talk about in relation to scale. And this week, our scale is just boring old quadrilateral. That is a shape with 4 edges or sides. Now, there you are. Caroline's finally finished. She's had so much trouble with her computer today. She was going to do this earlier on, but she did some broadcasting this morning to Science Week Ireland, and so this has been a busy day. So you've got to excuse this. Anyway, she's now got 4 sticks. The sticks are simply.
Can I just use my sticks as an example of something that I would say that I'm not very good at? Where's the camera? Can you see how kind of not very, especially like this one, look at that. I can say I'm not very good at that, but the point
Caroline, the thing is, you've got to spend time, and it's not you not being good. It's you have got to take care and spend time. You've done it quickly, so there's practice. You can start off as you're quite young. It can be quite rough, and then as you get older and you practice more, you get better at it. Plain and simple. Anyway, paper sticks are something we absolutely love, because you just use scrap paper. Now, you can use any sort of paper. It can be an old magazine, an old newspaper. You'll possibly get people to give you newspapers or old magazines if you haven't got enough in your house or where. Or ordinary printing paper that's used. And we make paper sticks by simply rolling paper, cut to the right length if we need it a certain length, and rolling it round a piece of string, rolling it as tight as we can, and fastening it with some sticky tape. Stick, okay? Simple as that. Now, there are thousands of uses in the classroom and for these sticks. And today, Caroline's going to tie those together, and she is going to tie them in the order of the shortest one, which is What's the shortest one, Caroline?
Can we tell them that in a minute? Oh dear, Tony. Can we tell them that in a minute? Because we've got to take a commercial break.
Oh, wow.
And I've got a 12 centimeter,
That's the
16
short one.
centimeter, 16 centimeter, 20 centimeter, and 24 centimeters. So you've got yourselves a very short time to go and find yourself some paper, get some string. I couldn't even find my string because I was so in such a hurry. So I've actually put balloons through mine, but find a piece of string, 4 pieces of paper, and roll your sticks, 12 centimeters, 16, 20, 24. We're after a commercial break. We'll be right back.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
We're back on Relax Radio, where they've taken the X out of the word relax because that represents negativity in the radio founder's mind. And yes, that X means you've done it wrong. So Tony, who's my co-host, is the founder of several organizations, or a couple of organizations. The most recent one is an organization in Africa called Ainslie, where they provide professional development for teachers who work in rural, well, for all teachers, but the ones that have most benefit out of things like this is that these can be used in rural areas, in areas, disadvantaged areas where the funding is low. This can be made out of
so we work
recyclables.
with the poor, with teachers and schools and children in the poorest areas where they don't have anything. I mean, they except perhaps mostly they would have a chalkboard, and that's about it. And got chalk, that's good. So what we say to them is, well, you can still do practical maths. You can still enjoy playing with maths in various ways. Use junk. And so we specialize in using junk, using rubbish, using things you'd otherwise throw away to make learning aids, to make, last week it was paper aeroplanes, this week it's going to be bendy quads, okay? So paper sticks. So Caroline, tie your paper sticks together in the order of size. So the
we've got
short one, the
12
centimeter one goes
12 centimeter. So I'm just going to repeat it. Just in case somebody's
going
going
to 12 centimeter gets tied to
Tony, I'm just going to repeat it. We've got 12 centimeters, 16 centimeters, 20 centimeters, and 24 centimeters, and they're going to get tied in order of size, right? So
yes,
12 to 16.
Make a shape which has 4 edges. Now,
4 edges.
we're talking about a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or better still, let's not do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 3, 4, 5, 6. So Caroline's sticks are they represent a scaled up version of 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5, and 6. Now they would be far too small, really, to make the stick nearly, accurately to those lengths. 3 centimeters is very small.
So 3 turns into 12, 4 turns into 16, 5 turns into 20, and 6 turns into 24.
Yes,
so we can work out what the scale factor is.
We've scaled it up by a factor of 4. Now, we've done this like we did with the aeroplanes. In fact, it doesn't have to be a factor of 4. Instead of being 12, 14, 20, 24, it could have been 6, 8, 10, 12, which would have been doubling the length. Or it could have been multiplying them by 5. It could have been 15, 20, 25, 30. We've scaled them up because we're going to measure angles. And when it comes to measuring angles, the angles with these, when we change the shape, with the angles are going to, the angles, when we scale something up, the angles are scaled up and the angles stay the same. And the edge lengths get bigger if we scale up. We saw that with the aeroplanes last week.
Am I going to need a protractor?
We will just talk about measuring them. I mean, we haven't got time, Caroline, to actually do it.
Good, because I don't have my protractor with me. I'm very relieved to hear that. And I suspect that many a person at home won't have it either. And I've managed to bury my stick inside this balloon. Inside. Come on out. Come on out. Come out.
Okay,
come out. Wherever you
she's
are.
fiddling with her sticks. I'll go on talking. Okay.
Right.
So the idea is to have 4 sticks to make a quadrilateral, which is a shape with 4 edges. And then to be able to bend it, because they're only tied together at the vertices or the corners, so you can bend it. And so we call it a bendy quad. Quad short for quadrilateral, and bendy because you're bending it, okay? And Caroline has almost finished making her bendy quad.
Getting my microphone stuck in it.
Now, the question about this is going to be, what shapes can you make? So we have got all sorts of questions here for different age groups. So I want to just switch. Here it is. So this is Caroline's 3, 4, 5, 6 bendy quad. Okay. And now, Caroline, just do some changing of the shape of that so people can see how it changes shape. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh my goodness. Check that out. Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Okay.
Gosh.
We're going.
Again.
Ooh, oh my goodness.
No, look, she's got a triangle. Whoa. I mean, it is still 4 sticks, but she's now got a triangle. And
now,
now,
we go for a straight line again.
Yes. And still a quadrilateral now. Isn't this exciting?
What I'm doing is I'm literally just taking these 4 sticks that are tied together, and I'm making different shapes. I'm just moving them around in midair. Or you could do them on the top of a table, and making shapes with 4 edges, and some of them are turning into a triangle. And now
she's doing an arrowhead, or we call that an arrowhead or a dart. Now, in the documents we've written, we've said, to make it easier, let's keep these quadrilaterals, let's keep them convex, which means that you don't have it pointing in on itself like the dart she just showed you. So we can continue, we can consider them later. I mean, we never close the doors forever, but just to keep it simple, let's see what we can do with this quadrilateral, what shapes we can make. And that's what we get there. So that's the game to play first of all. The children the game is to make the shape, to make the sticks first, okay? And the sticks will just remind you are 12, 16, 20, and 24 centimeters.
Are any of these shapes symmetrical?
That's a good question, isn't it? Yes, that's a good question. And once you've found something, you have to, in my world, if you come anywhere near me, just watch out, because I will always ask you to explain what you've got. I mean, if somebody tells me something, I'm very interested in what they have to say, and I will usually ask them to explain it. And certainly if I'm teaching maths, we want an explanation. That shows that you can put your thoughts into words, that you understand it, you communicate your ideas to somebody else. So
can we just take that moment? That sounds like a learning moment to me, Tony. So what about the parents that are listening that maybe don't know how to help their children, don't actually know the answer to the question the children are asking? What options have they got?
Let's find out. No, I mean, it's not a good thing to try and explain something to somebody else. Often they listen to you. Often they smile because that probably please you and pretend that they understand, or maybe they do, but not very well. It's not really a good thing to try and explain something until the child has had a chance to experience it, think about it for themselves. And then the best way to get the understanding, develop the understanding, is asking questions. You know, what do you think, or what do you think that angle could be? All sorts of questions, and we call them key questions. And you'll see on all our documents on the Aiming High, we call it, website, we suggest key questions. These are questions you can ask. Instead of explaining, ask the questions. Now, if you don't know the answer to something, and you know, quite often you can get a question from a child and you don't know the answer. So, well, let's find out. Let's find out. And if you've got a smartphone, look it up. Find out together.
And what about, for example, how powerful is it if you show your child that there is nothing wrong with not knowing, that there's no, it's not even not shameful, it's the opposite. It's actually an exciting moment of, oh, let's find out, and we can do it, something you can do together. And
Exactly.
if it's hard, and you can model how you can take something you don't know, find it hard to find a solution, and persevere, don't give up, and find together, you find a solution and find out how it works. How powerful is that in terms of showing your child a great way of learning, and also showing them how to have a growth mindset and how to overcome adversity in a positive way.
And it's important. You see, right throughout the last, since schools were set up, there's been a way of teaching which has been typical, and I call it 18th century teaching, okay? Where the teacher explains something, often writes on the board, shows the children how to, around us, how to do this particular process that they have to do in this bit of maths, a calculation or solving an equation or whatever it is. And then gives, having shown them how to do one, like a cooking recipe, then says, now you do these, and they're almost the same as the one I've shown you. So all you have to do is to recognize the steps I showed you, carry out those steps one by one, and you'll get a red tick. Useless, absolutely useless. Totally a waste of everybody's time. Why? Not a waste of time when I was in school in the 1940s and 1950s. No, because at that time, a computer was a human being. When we landed on the moon, the people who did all the calculations were actually women, not men. Okay, they were women, they weren't computers. Nowadays, simple, cheap computers can do everything a human being, all those things that routine that a human being can do, the computer can do more accurately, all those calculations, more quickly, okay, without getting tired. So if you think, thinks education is about practicing something that you don't really understand until you can do it, get a red tick, and then do it in the test and get a good mark in the test, it's useless, okay? Because people are not employed anymore and paid to do that sort of thing. Not at all. So what they need to do with mathematics, and mathematics has become more and more and more useful, more and more important for many sorts of jobs, all sorts of jobs. And what people need to do is to be able to use the calculator, use the computer, use whatever is available to do to do the work that computers do better than people, and actually do the reasoning, do the emotional reaction to something, doing the being creative that people can do, the things that they can do better than computers. So yeah. So how do we get onto that track? Oh, you were talking about learning.
I was talking about learning, yes, and I will after the break. I will we're going to go back to something along those lines as well. But first, are you there, Tony? I've got a joke for you. What did the triangle say to the circle?
Ooh, I don't know. What did it say?
It said, "You're pointless."
I like what 0 said to 8.
I know it. I remembered it, and then nice belt. Right. Well, after the break, we're going to have more maths. We're going to play with some more maths, and we're going to discover more wisdom on how to help your anxious learner love learning and enjoy mathematics.
And this is the Happy Maths Hour. So we want people to be happy. Play with maths and be happy.
This is the Happy Maths Hour. So see you back after the break with the second half of the Happy Maths Hour. The Happy Maths half hour that's left. Bye.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Happy Maths Hour. Thank you, Tony, with Tony Bearden, founder of AIMSEC and author of the majority of the resources on the Aiming High website. Now, normally I would, in an ideal world, all these links would be in the description, and they're not. So I'm going to have to tell you, but I can edit some of these later. And this will be, if you Google Aiming High and then the word AIMS, AIMS. If you Google that, Aiming space high space AIMS, that will take you to the
Aiming High is one word. In our web address, Aiming High is one word.
Okay, that actually I haven't tested that. So if you put in Aiming High all one word, then it'll probably come up too. The thing is that this website is full of chock-a-block full of activities that were originally written for teachers to help teachers in disadvantaged communities, teachers that were learning a new way of teaching, a way that really helps children understand mathematics rather than do rote activities and algorithms. But what's happened, one of the wonderful silver linings since lockdown is, since March 2020, let's say, is, because we don't know when this will be watched, it could be watched years from now, and that is that we started working together. I started doing some lives to help people that were having to learn at home, and Tony was like, I'm going to make home learning guides to help parents at home. And these home learning guides cover ages from the age of 4 to the age of 18. Well, anybody that wants to learn above the age of 4, and some children below the age of 4 will benefit from them as well. They are there to help the grown-ups, the parents, the educators, the people that are at home that want to help the young learners, or teachers that want extra inspiration, that don't necessarily want it to be in a class type format. And that for every single learning guide, there are activities to do, anything from the age of 4 and up. And they're go on, Tony.
Just say, Caroline, the idea is what we're imagining is, in many households all over the world, there are children of different ages. So you're not focusing on one child, or you may want to, but you've got several children there. So the ideal way is to get everybody learning together. So maths is not divided into what you do this year, what you do next year, what you do the next, and so on. Maths is actually all one big package. And as we learn maths, we add to what we knew before about that same topic, and now become, we know more. Each year the children learn a bit more about it. And there are themes in mathematics, like scale, which are hugely important. So what we've done is we've provided something that the whole family can do together. Now, you might have an 18-year-old and a 4-year-old. They could be brother and sister, but more likely they'll be cousins or somebody else who's coming from next door to work with your children, okay? So everybody can start together and do this common activity, like we're showing you with the bendy sticks. Last week it was making a paper aeroplane and seeing how far you could throw it, okay? Everybody does the same thing. And then in this guide, there are activities for every age from 4 years old to 18, school leaving standard, okay? So this particular activity about bendy quad was originally written for school leaving, okay? It was originally written, and I'll explain to you why. But if you go to the Aiming High website, you'll find the guide there, home learning guide, with activities for 4-year-olds and all ages, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, as well as the original one that was designed for the 18-year-olds. Now, so you've got your bendy quad, and my question is, simple one, what is the small, if you keep it convex, that is, you don't make it into an arrowhead, what is the smallest angle you can make, and what is the biggest angle, or more than one? And you can find that out by experimenting. Okay.
Does it have to be a quadrilateral? Does it have to
Yes.
still be?
No,
So,
you can make a triangle. You showed us.
well, no, I'm thinking of a straight line. That's 180 degrees.
Exactly.
That's the biggest angle.
Exactly. So you're finding out.
And then and that's 360. So we've got 360 there and 180
Caroline,
there.
you've got naught because it's the angle inside.
Oh, it's the angle inside. So it's naught there. So that's the smallest. So the smallest is naught. And the largest is 180. Now, that must be the smallest and largest, because anything else is bigger than 0, and you wanted it to stay convex. So it's not, I'm not going to be doing that. I can't do that. Okay, so it's got to stay. It's an irregular quadrilateral. Okay, so that's the small. That's it. That's the smallest and the largest.
No, there's more to it than that, because basically you showed us a few minutes ago that you could make a triangle.
Yes.
Now, so there's a limit. So you're looking at 4 angles. Okay, they're not all the same. They're not all. You've got, because of those sticks being different lengths. You've got to consider 4 different angles, and some of the angles. Okay, some of the angles won't go down to 0 degrees.
So you mean depending which sticks you're using. So if I use,
you're using 4 sticks.
What I mean is that way it'll go to 0 and 180. But if I do it the other way, it won't.
Yes.
If you go in the other way, my minimum, I still got 180 here. Right at that point, but these angles are, what are they? Well, combined they're 180, but how do I tell what the angle is?
Now, Caroline, here we go. This is the interesting thing about it. There's so many ways we use scale, and one of them, we make models and we measure what's in the model, okay? And that helps us in our design and manufacturing. Now here, Caroline is showing you this triangle. Now it is what in maths we sometimes call the limiting case. You see, we've made those 2 angles, the ones at the bottom, right, as small as we can, without, if we made them any smaller, we'd make an arrowhead. Okay? Now, they are angles we want to find out. Now, if we've learned some trigonometry, we can easily find out those angles by knowing the lengths of the sides. But so that's why it was originally a question for the older school students. But if we don't, we can still do it, no problem. And this is where Caroline hasn't got her protractor, but if she had, she could measure those angles. Yes?
Yeah, I could. Now, let me just see. I want to make sure this works anyway. I'm going to add this. Oh. Is it going to work? Oh. Hello. It says it's added, but it's not.
Well, Caroline, I can see a white wall. Is that what
yes,
I'm
I know. No. I can see it very clearly on here. No. I might have to just give up. No, you're bigger. I'm bigger. We're having lots of fun with it. No, now you're. It's not working. Okay, forget that. I'm just going to kick it out. Go away. Stop screen. Right. That's gone now. I've got my visualizer, and I was going to show it flat because I could say we could draw it. I could have drawn it. You see, I was going to draw. I was going to trace around through the center of it, the middle of it, so then I could measure the angles more easily, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, she can measure the angles between the sticks. She could draw. She could use the sticks to guide a drawing, and then measure the angles in the drawing. It's not going to be very accurate, but it'll be roughly right. If she wants to make it more accurate, she can make a different sort of bendy quad by using sticks that are really stiff, and you'll find instructions for that. I won't talk about it now, but we'll find instructions for that in the guide. And but once you know it's a triangle, there's a way, if you've got compasses, to draw it accurately. So I think Caroline has got the three. Caroline has got the 3 and 4, the two shorter ones, making 7 on the bottom.
Yep, I've got the two. Yep,
and then the other 2 are 5 and 6.
Yep.
So she could, if she had compasses, she could draw this triangle really accurately. Now she knows what it is, and notice that she's had to use her, well, she could have imagined it, but she's used her bendy quad to investigate the possibilities and find out what can happen, you know, with I'm using my hands, but find out what can happen with this bendy quad. And she's found it could be a triangle. And then we've just decided that we know the edges, so we could use compasses. Now, a lot of people are watching this, or not watching this, and listening to it on radio. So we're not going to do anything more visually with this, because I'm hoping that you can imagine sticks that are representing 3, 4, 5, and 6, and they're tied together at the corners. Okay, so they make it a 4-sided, a quadrilateral. We're calling it a quad, and then we can change the shape of that because they're tied at the corner, and we can make it into a triangle. Surprise, surprise! And when we make it into a triangle, we can measure the angles. Now, if we know some trigonometry, we can do this with trigonometry. But if we're younger children, can do it just by measuring and roughly measuring.
And the really young ones that where angles don't really mean anything to them yet, they can just draw it. They can just trace it out and have the satisfaction of drawing it. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, well, with the very young ones, this is how we suggest you go about this. Okay, you have a supply of sticks of all sorts. So all lengths, all right. Make lots of them. I mean, make
different lengths or the same length.
Different lengths, and make them. It doesn't matter what the lengths are exactly, but you have some of them. You'll have 2 or 3 of that length, but you have lots of different lengths. So you've got a pile of sticks. Make them with your children, okay? So you've got lots of sticks, and then say, well, you could start with triangles. What triangles can you make? And who can make a triangle that's very different from one we've had before? And of course, triangles won't be bendy, even though they are tied at the edges, at the corners. So you're just playing, and you make a game of it, and say you get a point if you can make a triangle before I do that we haven't found before. So when you made your triangle, some of them will be what we call equilateral, all the edges the same length, and all others will have two edges the same length. But you don't use those hard words. Anybody can see, and the kid can see, this triangle is different from that one. Okay.
I'm going to get you to hold that thought, and we're going to continue that, because I think I've had some ideas while you've been talking. I've just got to do a quick radio blast with the wonderful Relax Radio. Be right back with Toni Bearden and her wonderful maths ideas straight after the break.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the Happy Maths Hour. I've got to say another joke, Toni.
Okay.
Parallel lines have so much in common. It's a shame they'll never meet.
Oh.
Right, sorry, you were saying, Toni, this is
Well, I was saying,
close to my heart for the young children.
yes, this is for the little ones. The idea is that just play. You don't need to use any big words. If they can see the difference between two triangles, we were talking about triangles now, then good. Say, yeah, that's good, that's different from that one. What's different about it? Talk about it. And play a game where they get a point if they make one that hasn't been found before. And then do the same with four sticks and quadrilaterals. Now, when they're a bit older, when they're 6 or 7, then you can start using some of the words like square and rectangle and trapezium and parallelogram. Okay, these are hard words. But what about the dinosaurs?
Well, I always ask the children, can you say Tyrannosaurus Rex? And they all go, Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm like, well, in that case, you can say parallelogram. And they go, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, well, we do not want to make it, a really dull, miserable thing to do. We want to make it, it's interesting. What's she going to ask me to do next? What's he going to ask me to do next? Something different, okay. So now when we're talking...
One of the lovely questions that you ask a lot, and I don't think you've mentioned that one on this one yet, was how many different triangles can you make? So that it's not just different to what you're making, like what the two people making, or if there are several people making, but how many different ones is it possible to make in all? Yes. And in fact, all the different combinations, and how can you be sure you found them all?
Absolutely.
That's the real kicker, isn't it?
Yes. So when you get to the older primary learners, the 10, 11-year-olds, then it's Caroline's question. It's how many different quadrilaterals can we make? We've got we can have lots of different sticks of different lengths. How many different quadrilaterals can we make? And then you're going to have the names of the quadrilaterals by the time they're 11. You're going to have what the properties are, that the edges are parallel or the edges are the same length, or whatever properties or edges, the corners are right angles or right angles, whatever the properties are. But by the time they leave primary school, they should have learned these things. And how are they going to remember them? Because there's a lot of things that they will have encountered. Do they remember? Well, what we were talking about, what we want to earlier, and what we want to suggest to you is these paper sticks are perfect for making posters. So get a big sheet of backing paper and with your learners, could be in school, could be at home, make a poster for quadrilaterals, okay? And once you've discovered Caroline's question, how many different quadrilaterals can you make? Not necessarily ones that are bigger than others, but the same, but similar, like scaled up versions, but quadrilaterals that are different in different properties. And so then,
you want to qualify that. You'd want to get how many different ones that aren't similar. In other words, aren't the same shape, but scaled. They're not scale versions of each other. And that's another really important thing. They're not rotations of each other. That is such an important thing that is surprising at how even 8-9-year-olds will confuse a diamond with a square that's rotated at a different angle.
Yes, that's true. That's so true, Caroline. I mean, what we find is that even grown-ups. Okay, so let me just show you. I'm just quickly folding a piece of paper so I can show you.
Oh, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, hold on. We're going to get you. There we go. Sorry, you've got
this is a piece of scrap paper, and it's a square. Okay.
Hold it up a little bit more, Tony. We can't see the bottom of it. A bit higher. There. That's it. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think most children and most adults would say that was a square, but many would say that is not a square. They would call it either this is what Caroline's talking about, they would call it a diamond or a rhombus. Okay? But it is, I haven't changed anything except rotating it. So what Caroline is saying is when the children are trying to identify how the different shapes, different quadrilaterals, and find out how many different types there are, they too look different because one has been rotated, okay, and the other one is square on or whatever. Also, they can be reflected, like in a mirror. You see, my hands actually pretty much the same, okay, but I've actually had to turn them round so they really look the same. But you're actually looking at the front of one hand and the back of the other, and that is this question about reflections.
And that's a nice thing you can do with a 3D, something that you can actually get your hands on, like this shape. You can actually rotate it and actually show them. And yeah, you can make it out of cardboard as well. And so that would be one of the challenges. You could make this poster and then analyze it afterwards. And even one of the younger children could be the one who gets the job of, now, are they the same shape but rotated, turned around? Or are they the same shape? So one could be turned around back to front, reflected, or one could be rotated that way. And you can really, once you've got them all on this poster, you can then double check. And it doesn't matter if it takes you 6 months to find, oh, wait a minute, those two are actually the same. It's the learning is ongoing. And the more you look at these posters, the more you absorb. You just have them on the wall and they're yours and you've owned them, you've made them. The more you absorb what's on them.
Exactly. Yes. So what you actually want to have on your wall eventually is a poster where you have got an example of every possible type of quadrilateral and made with the sticks and stuck on, because then it's got a sort of solidity about it, okay? And take time to make it nice and neat and roll the sticks tight so that they actually look, it all looks neat.
Not like this.
And when you tie off the strings, tie them quite tightly at the corners and the vertices, and then cut them off so that everything's neat and tidy. And then because it's made of paper, you can stick it on your poster. You don't need to make thick sticks because actually you don't want it to be too heavy. And inside or just beside your quadrilateral, write its name, large and neatly write its name. It's a good group project. It's not a great project for somebody to do by themselves because it's take a long time, but it's a good group project because people can talk about whether this one is the same as that one or whether it's just rotated on. They can talk about getting them all as well, not forgetting one of them. And they can draw them, or they could draw them on the poster, or they could use the sticks, stick the sticks on, and write the name. So that it's not just difficult to say, like quite difficult to smell. Parallelogram, a lot of people find that difficult to spell as well as to say. So write them with spelt correctly, write down what the properties are, and then put it up on the wall in the class. You may not want it on the wall in your house, but anyway, it's up to you. But make it, because it is going to be a good way of learning. And if you've got a group of children and some of them don't particularly like doing calculations, they may enjoy this activity because it's different and there's a lot of, there's an artistic aspect to it too. Can you make this look really good? Is your writing going to be nice and neat?
Or even get crafty, get those colours out, make it beautiful. Just go for it. Some people just want to get on with it and make it practical, and some people really want to get the colours out and make it gorgeous. And there's absolutely go for it.
And actually, at home, it's quite a good project for a mixed age group. Younger and older learners to do together, and you hope your older learners will help the younger ones when they need help, but we'll give them things to do that they can take responsibility for and do contribute. So yes, make a poster. I love the idea of making posters, particularly and especially when it's one of these sorts of questions: how many can you find? Because you've looked it up on my document, you can see that you've got them all. They haven't got them all, right?
On your home learning guide.
Yes. Supposing they've got 10, but there are actually, there are 11, you can say, if we search hard, we might find some more. And then so then there's a sort of incentive to complete the job and find another one if there's one missing. So
and it's there's such a buzz. People talk about one of the things I love about maths, love. I am not, for the record, I am actually not a great person at maths. I struggle. I'm one of those that struggle. But because I enjoy it, because I know the satisfaction that comes at the end when you finally solve the puzzle, I treat maths as puzzles. That high that you get, that buzz that you get when you finally solve it, or you get the poster and you're absolutely realize, yes, I have found them all. Or even when you think you found them all and you think I have, and then later on you realize, whoa, we've got one too many. Those are two the same. And that buzz that you get from having those realizations or knowing that you found them all, there's nothing like it. It's a real powerful buzz, and it's a very strong driver to taking on the next project, knowing. And even oftentimes you'll have several on the go, so you haven't actually completed any of them, or you haven't solved them all. You stop with one, you continue with another, stop with that one, but eventually you get to it. As long as you don't give up, I call it perseverance and determination will get you there. And the buzz you get at the end of it is.
And it's a good group activity because, different people will find different solutions. So somebody who hasn't yet found a new one will keep trying because they want to find one that's mine. I found that one.
Yeah, they'll keep Yeah, they'll keep going because they want to get one too. Fantastic. Well, that's all the time we've got, Tony. So please go to the Aiming High website. That's Aiming High, all one word. That will find it, apparently. But Aiming High, and you'll find these activities on there. Today's one was Bendy Quad, and Tony is our amazing author of all these incredible activities that are there, designed so that you can understand and enjoy the maths that you're doing and that you need in school, and it gives you all those mental skills. We're going to finish with a joke. How does a mathematician plow fields? With a pro tractor. That came from 101 silly math jokes and puns, prodigygame.com. Thank you very much for your math jokes, and thank you, Tony, so much. I look forward to next week, 5 o'clock every Monday, London time. Tony and I will be here for the next few weeks.
It's more about scale.
And it's all about scale. At the moment, it's all about scale. So we'll have another game for you, another activity for you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, Tony, the amazing Tony Bearden. Thank you, Relax Radio. Enjoy the other programs. I don't know what's coming up after the break, but it's going to be worth hearing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, Tony.